All right. Wow, it has been a while since I've been on live. Um, okay, so I am just going to be talking about Google Analytics 4, um, per usual. If you have any specific questions about Google Analytics 4, let me know in the comments and hopefully we can answer them. But until people start popping in here, I am going to just chat about what I'm seeing in GA4 and some of the most common things some of the most common questions that I get, things of that nature. But really, the idea of this is I'm hoping that some people will pop in and ask some questions or, leave some thoughts, some things that we can talk about. So let me see here. Just gonna pull this in. All right. So here we go. Let's talk about GA4. Okay. So when you hop in GA4, this is the screen that you're going to see the most. A few new things have been added here. The first is that we now have annotations. Thank God. So if you click on this, it will show you your annotations, but you can also create them. They are color coded, so you could use the colors for specific like issues or categories of comments that you want to leave. But you could also use them, use the different colors for different people. But whatever that might be, whatever that looks like for you. But all of the annotations get a title. So I'm going to leave one for SEO week. So I spoke at SEO week last week, an incredible event put on by Mike King. Shout out to Mike King and the iPoll Rank team and the CK Events team. It was incredible indeed. So SEO week here, and then you can leave a description. Spoke on Tuesday. Site on every slide and QR code on final slide. Okay, cool, whatever. So I'm going to set this again. This was last week, so I'm going to set the date till Tuesday and the end date till Tuesday. So that just marks it. That basically, this is just going to flag it for that day. So if I click apply and create annotation, now I'll see that I have this little purple square essentially, and if I hover over it, it will show the annotation, right? So the idea is, so for instance, like if I look back at this, what happened on April 18th, that I had a really big increase of events. Maybe I could go in there and look at it. Listen, I'll be the first to tell you, I don't love the metric event count, so I'm not going to look at that. But like active users, right? We can see that there was definitely an anomaly on this day, and likely because I was at SEO week giving a talk. And so now I have this annotation here, and that will kind of explain it, right? So if I look back a year from now and go, why did I have an anomaly in users at that time? And then I kind of had this lift for a few days afterwards, probably because of SEO week, right? And that will be seen. This isn't specific to the homepage, right? If I go into the report section, I'll see it there as well. So, and if you decide that you don't want it, you can always come in here and delete it. But I'm going to leave this one here because why not, right? So we have the annotations. You can also, so I just said, I really hate this event count metric. I don't think it's useful. So I could come in here and change these. There's really not a lot that you can change in the home screen. There's really not a lot going on in the home screen, but I could change these if I wanted to. So I could change it to total users, views, e-commerce, maybe like add to carts, which would be, yeah, a big fat 0. Because I haven't been pushing that, but alas, right? You can change those. That is one thing that you can change. We do see this benchmarking now, so this will benchmark you against other people in the industry that you set in your settings, right? If you have benchmarking turned on, you will see that. If not, you won't. So, you can always put this in here and see how you are holding your own against the competition, I suppose. So let's just see here. If I do engagement rate. Yeah. So these are my peers. So this is the average, and then you can see the 75th percentile and the 25th percentile, and that I'm staying right around, I would say, right around average, right? So that's the home screen. That's really it. The one thing that I do see people overlooking a lot in the home screen, and that is really not utilized a ton, even though I think it's super helpful, are the insights. So if you come down here, right, they do give you insights based off of your data, but you can create your own insights. So you can see that this is a custom insight. So if you go to view all insights and then create, you can create your own insight, which you might be thinking, that's not really helpful. But what is helpful is that you can actually have them email you when a specific condition is met. So let's say you're working in, let's see, audience here. Let's say you're working in SEO and you are watching your organic users like a hawk. If you see that, I hate that I can't search it. I keep trying to search it. That if user engagement goes down rapidly, or if you see that any of these things has an anomaly, right? Then you can get an email that will go straight to your inbox, so you don't have to go back into GA4 and look every time, right? This is also helpful for like transactions, especially if you're an e-commerce site, then you can watch out for that. So the thing here is you get to set your frequency. You can choose a segment. So this is all users, and you get access to some dimensions here, not all. I would argue not even the most helpful. You can really do it only based on users, right? So you get first user segment. It's not session based. So first user source, medium, and campaign. So this, if you did first user medium and you set it to organic, so you could do exactly matches, and then it shows you all of the options here. So if you do organic, just remember that's going to pull through Google, Bing. If you have anything marked as organic otherwise, it will bring that in. If the medium contains organic, it will bring that in. So you could do it this way. I showed earlier how you can use an audience. The audience is helpful, but you have to have the audience set up, so on and so forth. So if you click apply, now it's going to say first user medium exactly matches organic. So the first time a user is acquired, it will be marked. If it's marked organic, they will be lumped into this. Now, what you would probably want to use is new users, but even then that's not overly helpful. I would just do entrances. So again, not great. I would definitely use an audience here for sessions and see, or even if, I would do the audience name and pull in our organic audience, click apply, and then I would use a metric of, you could do gross revenue purchase. They have key events in here, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, K. So you could do key events. If there's a key event anomaly from organic users, these are the kinds of things that people are generally going to care about. But so, yeah, and then you just tell it to email you. That's what would be down here. So use the insights. There's some interesting things you can do there. You know, if people are coming from mobile and the engagement rate skyrockets, that's probably something we want to look into, right? Okay, so this is kind of the home screen. Really, that's all there is going on here. The report section, this is where people are really kind of missing the point, I would say. So the report section, this is the closest thing that you're going to get to the universal analytics, setup, right? And this can actually be customized. People say all the time, oh, well, we don't have this report. Oh, I can't find this, so on and so forth. You can create almost any kind of report that you want, as far as like bringing data in, right? So the entire navigation of the report section is controlled by this library. So you can see here, I have all of these collections because I let students get into my account when I teach them. It's probably not a good idea, but alas, you know. So you can see, like, if we look at this, I have campaigns here. I have life cycle here, publish, life cycle here, and then you can see acquisition, engagement, retention, monetization, right? So all of these. If they're not showing up in here, it's because there's no reports in here. I just haven't deleted the topics. So these collections are what make up your navigation. So if you go into a collection here, like so this campaigns thing was created by students. If I delete it, now it's no longer in my navigation, right? And then the leads was never in my navigation because I deleted all of the reports from it. But life cycle. So if I click on the three dots here and I click on edit, this shows this is the collection name, which is what it's going to be called, like the folder is going to be called in your navigation. And then you have these different topics. So acquisition, engagement, retention, monetization. I'm going to get rid of that GA4 SEO. And then we have all of our different reports. Excuse me. So you can drag and drop reports in here. You can get rid of reports. You can change the name of the topics if you want. I'm going to pull in this queries report that comes from Search Console, and I'm just going to drop it in here under acquisition because that's what I want to know. I can also pull in organic Google search traffic and pull that in here as well. And now if I click save to current collection and I go back, now those reports are going to be in here as well. So I have my acquisition. Now I have my organic search traffic report in here and my queries report in here. So I have, now I can see my landing page and then how many clicks, organic clicks, how many impressions, what the click-through rate was, position, so on and so forth. And then I can do the same for my queries, right? So here are the queries, Beast Analytics, Bree Anderson, right? So this is customizable. And so you can make your reports easier to find. You can also change your reports. So GA4 has this like channel grouping thing that they use. And I don't like it and I don't use it. And so what I do is I changed all of my reports for acquisition to use source medium instead of channel grouping, because channel groupings tend to miss out on things if you're just looking at the channel groupings. So I don't like to use those, but So I changed mine to use source medium and to pull through the campaign. And the way that I did that was I just came to this was the traffic acquisition report. In the top right-hand corner, you can see that annotation, by the way. Hello. And people are coming from direct because they were typing it in or they used the QR code. If you click on the pencil in the top right corner, this opens up a report editor and you can edit your reports right here. So I pulled in, if I click on dimensions, you can see that it's usually defaulted to the channel grouping. I just went to session source medium and I set that as the default. And so that's why now every time I open this report, I see session source medium instead of channel grouping because I don't like the channel grouping. And then once you click apply, it will show that. Now, here's a fun fact that I don't know if a ton of people know this, but if you are in the report editor and you add a secondary dimension, so I'm going to do session campaign. If I add that session campaign in here and I save this report, then it will always show up like this. So that's exactly what's happening. That's how I have it set up, is whenever I come to my source medium report, which this is session source medium for specific sessions, I see the source medium and the campaign every single time. Now, in the report editor, you can set your dimensions that are available, and you can change the defaults, right? You can do the same with the metrics. So you can set the default sort by metric, and you can set whichever metrics are available. And then you can also rearrange them. So if you're like active users, sessions, engaged sessions, and then you want engaged sessions per active user, if I wanted to change that, I could. If I wanted to get rid of any of these metrics, I could. Just click apply here. So I rearranged those, I applied it, and now that is applied to this report, right? So now I see sessions, engaged sessions per active user. Engaged sessions is very hard to say. I don't know if you all know that, but and now I see that, right? So perfect. And then you can change how things are visualized. So right now we are seeing session source medium over time as a line chart, and then sessions by source medium as a bar chart. You can change it. Like if I did scatter chart, for instance, click apply, it would change it here. Now I'll see active users and then sessions. Now, what's interesting that I found one day was that if you change the sort by metric, so if I do average engagement time, it will actually change your scatter plot. So sessions by average engagement time. So you can see I don't have a lot of traffic from these things, right? But the engagement time from those these referrals or these source mediums are really high. So like where I get a decent amount of organic sessions, the average engagement time isn't as, it's mediocre. It's fine. A lot of the direct sessions that I get aren't very long at all. And this is like a clear outlier, right? So the trend, I would say, is a bit more like this. And these up here are the outliers. So this is just Tag Manager because I don't exclude it, even though I could if I wanted to. And it will change this too. So now I'm seeing the average engagement time by session source medium. Now, if I change this back to sessions, now you see average engagement time per session and then sessions again. So it changes the X and the Y axis. So depending on like whatever you click on becomes this axis, and whatever you click on, becomes this axis, and whatever was previously clicked on becomes this one. I don't know why that is, but that's just how it is. And so again, I like scatter plots because you can pretty visually think of the like average and then identify outliers pretty quickly. Now, here's the thing about customizing reports. If you save this to the current report, it will override what's already there. Okay. So in the navigation, anything that gets changed in the navigation is going to be reflected to all users who access your GA4 account or the GA4 account, right? So if I have access and you have access, if I make changes in here, you're going to see them as well. So if I save over this report and you've been using it and now all of a sudden what you were looking at is gone, you're probably going to be pretty pissed. So save it as a new report. So change it. So I'm just going to call this edit. Now what's going to happen is once you save this, it's going to be saved in the report library. So where we just were. But because it's not in a collection, you're not going to be able to access it. So if I go into the library here, you're not going to be able to access it via the navigation because it's not in a collection yet. You're only going to be able to access it here in the library. So you would come in here, click on the report, and it's going to open it in the report editor. So it's not a great experience. If you save a report, because you're going to want to use it, I would suggest putting it in a collection. Now, you can always create collections for specific users, right? So I've done this for some of my clients where I just name this one of the collections like client or their name, and then I create all of the reports that they want to look at, right? And put them in there, or how I know they're going to want to look at it. And then I put all those reports in a collection and they can just hop into the report section, find the topic, find the report, boom. Now they're exactly where they want to see it, right? So, but just remember, anything that you change in the library, anything you change in the report section is going to be reflected to all users. So don't just go around changing things. That's probably not going to bode well for you. All right. Okay. Well, this is Office Hours 1. I didn't get any comments or anybody hanging out, which is totally fine. I didn't really expect anybody to just hop on in. I just wanted to test it, see how it's received. So if you're watching this later, let me know in the comments. And let me know if you have any questions or anything. I would like to do office, quote unquote, office hours more often. I was at SEO week and somebody was telling me that he blocks off. I really wish I could remember his name, but I cannot for the life of me. He told me that he blocks off the first hour and a half of his day on Fridays and just has an open kind of Microsoft Teams meeting, and anybody can jump in from his company and ask him how to see specific data in GA4. And I thought that was a really cool idea, and I'd like to kind of extend that to my community. So I know a lot of you have questions about GA4 or even Tag Manager or just tracking in general, creating tracking plans, any of that stuff. I would love to chat. And yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I hope to do a couple more of these. It'll probably be on Fridays, but we'll see. Anyways, if you're watching this, thanks. And I hope to see you guys again soon.